All right, we moved into the new Lightworks location. This is technically number 3. Started in the home garage, home basement. We were in our previous location for about 11 years, and it was time to move to a location that suited our needs better. Long story short, it's been a long way in the making to get this floor going. The lift was finally installed yesterday, and is the Derek Weaver Pro Certified lift. It's made by Rotary, but that's not what this video is about. I'm happy to have a lift, left the junker behind, and today we're going to be talking about these floor tiles. I priced out some tiles, the name brand tiles here in the States. Believe it or not, each tile is over $10 a square foot, and you can get a deal on these, but even then, maybe you're paying high nines. I mean, it's not much of a discount, 10% max. I started looking and contacted a few suppliers and found these garage tiles. And if you do the math, they came out to be just a little over $2 a tile, delivered from China. My friend brought over one of the name brand ones for comparison. I'll show you guys that in just a moment. But it's gonna have a black outer edge. I'm just starting right now. I've never done this before, by the way. I have a black outer edge, single red tile, and it'll have a gray interior here. And the reason why I did epoxy in the other shop, and it was amazing. It held up really, really well, professional epoxy job. The thing is, the epoxy is really expensive. And this place we're leasing, we don't know how long we're gonna be here, but a minimum of about 5 years. So I decided to give these tiles a shot. I think they're gonna look awesome. This floor, you can see, it's not terrible, but it is cracking. I think epoxy would take a lot of fill-in, and it was really worn down where the previous owner had the lift. So we'll see how all this works. So far I got 3 color tiles, and you can switch these up. I mean, for the price, if I get bored, I might do green one day, like a lime green. I think that looks really cool. Or just switch it up. We're just testing out this floor, testing out the supplier, and seeing how it goes. They come in a box like this, and it's 40 tiles per box. All right, let me know if you can tell these apart. On the left, I have the name brand tile. I'm not gonna mention anything. You guys can figure this out. I'm not trying to put a damper on anybody's business, of course. This tile is one of the damaged tiles one of my close friends gave to me. And it's actually about 6 years old, so it's held up really, really well. These are the brand new ones I just got. And right off the bat, I can tell that the ridges are a little bit thicker on the name brand tile. But overall, it's very similar. We actually even tested, these do lock in to one another. So despite being different sizes, they do lock in and they do work. And in terms of dimensions, they're exactly the same dimensions and the same height. So this is the name brand tile, and I'm just gonna kind of flex it a little bit, get a feel for how stiff it is. And these are the tiles that we just got. So right off the bat, you can see it's a little bit more flexible. And for the price point, I mean, I wouldn't expect them to be 100% the same. This is what the bottom looks like. It looks like there's more material between these ridges than there is on this one, and that's probably how they keep the cost down. Overall, I mean, these tiles are definitely not made for heavy machinery in any way. I actually believe this one was damaged from just using a wheel jack. So I expect the same stuff to happen again at the price point. I don't think there's a big risk, to be honest with you. So it didn't cost that much to outfit this whole place, and it's a pretty big area that we're working with. So we'll definitely keep you updated on how it goes. But again, name brand, direct from China, and we'll show you how it all looks laid down in just a moment. All right, so been at it for about 40 minutes now. It's really straightforward. You basically work right to left. You can't really skip a step if somebody's helping you. For example, somebody can walk down and do all the blocks going down here. But it's basically right to left. because of the way that you're positioning these interlocking tiles. I mentioned the floor before. If you were to epoxy this, you'd have to really fill this in. I mean, you don't have to, but you'd want to, you would. And what's nice about the tile, it locks right in. There is a gap, basically across this area somewhere. A, you don't see it. B, you don't feel it. I mean, it's a win-win. And they go together really easy. Anybody could do this. The only prep is really to clean the floor. I'm sure tomorrow when we get to it, this is gonna be fun, just cutting out some extra pieces for the sides and just kind of getting around columns and stuff. But overall, this is a very DIY friendly job that you can probably bang out in a day or two. Versus epoxy, you have to prep the place, and it's definitely not something you want to do, especially if the floor needs to be grinded down. If you're already working out of the unit, you'd have to remove everything and have some downtime. So this is nice in that aspect. Again, can't really comment on long-term use just yet. We're really just getting started, as you can see, but definitely familiar with epoxy, and I've spoken to a lot of people with these tiles, and they've been very pleased with them. So it's really going to shine up the spot, and can't wait to show you as we move along. All right, so after I started and what I thought completed was the first section, I realized that I was setting it up wrong. If we want the little ramps here, and by the garage door over there, the female loop has to be on this side. So essentially we had to detach the black from the red, and then we'll flip this 180 degrees. Probably got to separate it at least into two pieces, maybe three, which means we need to start at the opposite end of the shop back here. So that's what I've done. Made a lot of progress already. It's going to need to be cut around the stairs, around the garage door, and essentially this area over here. So what's really cool is, again, it just fills up any cracks. I mean, it's a whole new life for the shop floor, for the garage floor. And essentially we're working from this corner. So you can build up or you can build to the right, but there's no real shortcuts. You have to build from this area unless you want to sweep the tiles under each other, and it's not fun to do that. So keep you posted how this is going in just a little bit. All right, the majority of this was done just in a few hours, but the rest of it is really cutting out the squares around the hard part on the tiles. So that'll be interesting around the lift. And since we started on the other side of the wall, we just need to cut. And you're basically sacrificing one tile just to get this quarter tile finish. You could end it there if you wanted to, but we want a nice finished look. I'm not going to show you the whole space right now, but it's almost done. Just cutting the rest of it. And everything worked out really well. We actually used a few spare pieces over here. And just got to do around the stairs. So I'll show you in a little bit. All right. Friday afternoon, one of us stayed behind and just finalized a few things, like the cutouts, a few tiles that still need to get pressed down, but yeah, cutouts around the lift, cutouts around the edges. All in, this was a full day's worth of work for two people. Super happy with how it came out. I mean, everything looks completely transformed at this point. So this space was dark and dingy. The floor had the cracks in it. We did the LED lighting a few months ago. Completely transformed the space. It's quite amazing to see it like this. The black husky cabinets go really, really well. The toolbox and that new lift. But back to the floor tiles. Super happy with them. The video picks them up a little bit weird. It's a little trippy looking, if you know what I mean. But all in all, very satisfied with the quality, very satisfied with how everything came out. No problems whatsoever. They even gave a little bit of excess. I was worried that we didn't have enough tiles, to be honest with you, at some point, because the box has sat here for a few months. I counted, everything looked good, but it just didn't look like it was enough. But each box has about 40 tiles. And again, you can design however you'd like. You can get different colors. You can go one color. I really like the gray, but I like the contrast of the black, and then I decided to add a little bit of a accent color. So red is sort of my thing, my color, and it looks really awesome. But no problems. We actually used some spare pieces for this. We're waiting for a new garage door to come in, so that'll be finalized in a little bit. But super pleased with everything. I think what I'll do is in a few months or a year, I'll update this this video or this post on YouTube and just give everybody some feedback on how it is to work on this kind of surface. We get a lot of cars coming in the winter, and they bring in snow and ice and slush. I think that'll be actually a good thing. You're not sitting in the snow and everything, but it'll be interesting how it dries up. We don't technically have any drainage built into the flooring. The floor is not super level. It is a low side, kind of right over here where I'm sitting, so sometimes the water may come in and just kind of sit around. I guess we'll see. But I think that's the beauty of this kind of system. It does have kind of drainage built into it. But I think the real beauty is the fact that you can do it in one day. You don't have to wait for the epoxy to dry. You don't have to grind down the floor. Just sweep it up, vacuum it up, and go. And you can do this with a buddy, or you can do it by yourself. If you were to do this by yourself, it'll probably take you a few days to do. This is a big space, but most people are working with a 2-bay garage, and that's a quick half-day project. So overall, super pleased. But let me know what you guys think. I know a lot of you have gone the name brand, and I'm curious how many actually go with the generic stuff in the United States, because a lot of Americans aren't super used to ordering from Alibaba. So I'm just curious on how people view this whole thing in general. But let me know your thoughts. We're super happy with everything. I know me and my guys are just completely floored, because we spent the last few months renovating this place, LED lighting, painted all the walls, painted the garage doors, put the lift in, the floor, the wall. This is our new content area, showcasing the lights that we offer. We can work on a vehicle that needs to go up in the air for a few days if it's a long build. So we have a dedicated workspace to give you everything that you're looking for. And I think this will certainly only help us as far as the looks and the functionality of the flooring go. So anyway, we look forward to your comments. But thanks again, subscribe to the channel, and thank you very much.